What am I supposed to do about it? I can't save nobody. I'm nobody's Mockingjay.
Hello friends, I'm back. I finished Mockingjay. Woo! I have completed the Hunger Games original trilogy. I gotta move on to the prequels now, but I finished the trilogy and I have things to say. Buckle up. You are back with Brandy Nikhil, Dr. Brandy Nikhil, the bookish baddie, and we getting ready to get into some things. You ready? Let's go. So, as I started Mockingjay, I'm like, I remember maybe not loving this one as much as the other ones. But then I was like, well, let me see though, because it's been years since I've read them. Let's see. Let's really give it a shot. And so we pick up Mockingjay after catching fire, of course. And so Katniss has been rescued and taken to District 13. Peeta was captured by the Capitol. Joanna was captured by the Capitol. Finnick was captured by 13. And District 12, her home district, is no more. It's gone. Gail was able to get out and get her family out. Peeta's family is gone. Most of the people from District 12 are gone. There's a handful that have migrated to District 13. District 13 is indeed alive and well, even though they thought that it had been destroyed during the original war situation. But it has not been destroyed. 13 lives, right? So that is where we pick up from. Katniss is like going through a major depression. She's still healing from being in the arena. Finnick is mentally messed up because his woman, his girlfriend from his district, has been kidnapped by the Capitol as well. They seeing Peeta on TV like, stop the war, stop the count, stop the war. You know, like, we don't need to be doing this. And they're like, why is he saying this? Peeta supposed to be our boy. She like, I thought Peeta loved me. What is going on here? You know, so it's a lot happening. It's a lot happening in District 13, right? So that's where we pick up from. And so, Haymitch is also in District 13. I love Haymitch. And so Haymitch is also there. And I think what I didn't love about this book is we spend a lot of time getting acclimated in 13. We spend a lot of time backing and forth into 12 and to go different places with her as the Mockingjay, because of course she's the Mockingjay. I love that she got an outfit from Senna that he created before he passed away, and so she has put on her armor to be the Mockingjay. But what changes in this third book is you can feel that she's almost just a mouthpiece, almost just a figurehead. So we meet President Coyne, who's the president of District 13, and immediately she kind of rubbed you the wrong way. Like, yes, you're keeping your people alive, you're doing good work here, you know, you have a safe district that has avoided the Capitol for all these years, but something about her is like, Katniss, you're the Mockingjay, but I'm the president. Simmer down, girl. Simmer down. You'll do what I say. You're in my district now. It kind of gives that a little bit, right? Right off top. So you kind of like, who she think she is? I know you're talking to Katniss like that. And it's so funny because then you have to remember, like, Katniss is only like 16 or 17 at this time. Like, wow, what a revolutionary. But we see her humanity so much in this book. Like, she's not really a revolutionary. She is, but she's really a child. She's really depressed and traumatized and trying to find out what life looks like after all of these things have happened to her. Like, insane character development, because we almost go backwards with Katniss in a way. Like, we see her, she's this like tough, I don't play around, I'm gonna save my family. And then we see her kind of regress into this like, what am I doing here? How is this happening to me? What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do about it? I can't save nobody. I'm nobody's Mockingjay. Whole time they're like, yes you are, put the stuff on, we finna send you here, we finna send you there, we finna send you here, we finna send you there. So she starts doing that. They continue to see footage of Peter. They realize Peter is not doing well, so they go get Peter. Peter's been hijacked by the Capitol, so mentally he's all messed up. He wants to kill Katniss because he has been trained to believe she's the enemy. Yada yada yada, yada 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 yada. They all go to the Capitol. We lose Finnick. Ouch. And then we lose Prim. Double, triple, quadruple, ouch. So, that's the synopsis. In the end, she ends up with Peter. Okay. So, I want to deep dive into some of these things, though, that we've talked about. And let's start with President Coin. Because I think it's genius that her name is President Coin, because she's really, her and President Snow are really two sides of the same coin, if you will. They really are. They really are two sides of the same coin in a way that you don't realize until you get to the end. So in the end, after they decide, you know, after they've overthrown President Snow, they've overthrown the Capitol, and they're like, what do we do with these people now? How do we maneuver taking over now? Of course, Coin is like, I'm top dog these days. Hello. Love to see a girl in charge, right? But there's a proposition to do a Hunger Games with the children of the Capitol now. And it's almost like, man, how did we get here from trying to stop the Hunger Games to now we're Uno reverse and doing the same thing they did to us that we overthrew them for? And that also plays into Prim's death, because Prim is the start of all of this. Like, she's the heart of the story, even though she doesn't have a whole lot in the story. She really is the heart of the story in general, because it starts with her being picked and Katniss is like, no, I'm going to save you from this. And then everything that she's doing is in an attempt to save Prim and or create a better world for Prim. And then in the final act of them overthrowing the Capitol for her to create this better world for Prim and protect her, Prim dies. And is really at the hand of President Coin and Gale. And so now we run into an easy answer on the love triangle situation, because I'm big on association. So you always want to be cautious about what people associate you with. And she says in the book somewhere, like, pretty much there's no way that I can ever look at you and not associate you with the order and the creation of what killed my sister. I can never look at you and not think about that. And so automatically we know then Gale is out. It's a wrap on Gale. See ya, bud. But to go through all of this, it almost makes you feel like, was it in vain? For Katniss anyway. Like, obviously we know the greater good benefited from the Capitol being overthrown, but would she have done all of this if she knew what the ending would be? Right? Would she? Just to have a couple more years with Prim? Maybe. Maybe. If it was me, would I? Yes. I would say yes. I think I would. Would you? Let me know in the comments. Would you have done it if you knew what the outcome would be years later? Would you have volunteered as tribute? Let me know. And backing up a bit, Prim really was the double whammy, because we had already lost Finnick by that point. And Stephen King famously always says, kill your darlings. It's like, if you are writing a book and you're not sure where to go to make it emotionally riveting, you got to kill the fan favorites. And killing Finnick broke my heart. Why would you do that? And it was so swift. They killed him and it was just over. And I was just like, no. not my boy. But they did redeem him in that. Annie had their child. He did get to marry the love of his life first. And she did have a child after he passed away. So, I mean, thank God for that. But wow, you know, that one hurt. And then to turn around and kill Prim in the way that they did shortly after that, devastating. And then I think it is so poetic that Katniss and Peeta returned back to District 12. Katniss, Peeta, and Haymitch returned back to District 12 when it was all said and done, and built a life. I think Haymitch ended up leaving at the end, which made me really sad for some reason. Like, I just wanted him to stay with them and just, like, be their kid's grandpapa, you know? Because Katniss's mother didn't go back with her. She just couldn't. She couldn't face it. But Peeta and Katniss going back to District 12 and rebuilding what had been reduced to ashes and raising their children there, and knowing that someday they would have to tell them the story of the games that no longer existed. And they no longer exist because your parents were badasses who ended it. Because when Katniss turned that bow on Coin, she ate that. She ate that real bad. And I will say, I think, you know, again, while this wasn't my favorite because there was so much, like, you know, just what felt like hubbub to me in the middle of the book, the last 50 pages made me sob. Like, visceral reaction. So good. So good. And it really solidified Peeta and Katniss's love, because even when his mind was gone, she was like, I still love him. I want the warm him back. I want the other version of him back. And she eventually got him back. And, you know, he's like, he fought his way back to her as well. He's like, let me ask you, real or not real? Did this happen? Did that happen? I do remember this. I do remember that. And even in a point where he was feeling like, maybe I won't overcome this, he was like, well, go without me, because I don't want to hurt you. Good man. That's a good man, Cavanna. Good man. So anyways, those are my final thoughts on the Mockingjay. Like I said, the beginning was great. The middle dragged a bit for me, but the ending more than made up for it. Like, probably my least favorite read of the three, the original three, but the most impactful of the original three. So good, so good. So I will be back as I read the prequels. I'm so excited. All right, until next time, guys. Bye.